I have studied journalism around the world, I have been greatly humbled by the level of courage and commitment displayed by journalists outside the U.S. Because most of them write in another language, I cannot testify to their level of writing and interviewing skills. But as for their heroism, I find it difficult to find comparisons since the very earliest days of the American Revolution. Consider the staff of the Novaya Gazeta in Moscow. 4 journalists from that twice-weekly newspaper were murdered in less than 8 years.
After the third murder, that of their star reporter, Anna Politkovskaya, editor Dmitry Merlatov met with the remaining reporters and suggested they close their doors. No story was worth dying for, he said, but the reporters wouldn't let him do it. They would not dishonor the sacrifice of their friends and colleagues. That was Anna's attitude, too. She, more than any other member of the staff, had the means and opportunity to leave at any time. She was born in the U.S. to Soviet diplomats. Her birth in America qualified her to be an American citizen. So at any time she could have left Russia to continue her anti-corruption campaign from a position of safety across the sea. Anna had already established her credentials as one of the great journalists of the world, winning international prizes nearly every year. Under the corrupt Russian government, she and the rest of the Novaya Gazeta had to come up with such compelling evidence that judges and prosecutors could not ignore it. Working under these kinds of journalistic requirements, she was still able to force the conviction of 20 men in 15 separate corruption cases. Few journalists in history can tout such compelling results. She had gained such notoriety from her work that many readers referred to the Novaya Gazeta simply as Anya's paper. Yet in some cases her compelling evidence was not enough. Anna showed that in some locations in his last election, for example, more people voted for former Russian President Vladimir Putin than there were registered voters. The election was a fraud, she said, but nothing could be done. The death threats Anna was receiving were finally too much for her husband to withstand. He finally packed his bags and left. "I can't take it anymore," he told her. Soon after that, she found out she was going to become a grandmother. Certainly these events gave her reason to take her work overseas. She could have made a fortune writing books, teaching at a top university, and speaking to hundreds of thousands of people in the lecture circuit, and still pursue her life's mission as novelist Alexander Solzhenitsyn did from America. However, Anna loved her country too much to leave. She valued truth and hated evil too much. She told a friend shortly before her death that it was precisely because of her children and her future grandchildren that she could not walk away from the fight against corruption and despotism in Russia. Every day the Gazeta journalists go to battle, armed with nothing more than a pen and a keyboard. Unlike soldiers in an army, they have no weapons of self-defense. They do their work each day without body armor, without protection, without armed comrades around to protect them, and knowing that their odds of survival are perhaps less than those of soldiers in any war in the past century. Finally, on October 7th, 2006, Anna's battle came to an abrupt end. An assassin shot Anna in her apartment building's elevator as she was going home. With Anna's example, it is understandable why other journalists of the Novaya Gazeta refused to quit. But that doesn't make their courage and commitment to truth any less compelling. And the fact that Anastasia Barborova had never known Anna personally and had only worked at the Gazeta less than 4 months before she was shot down in broad daylight, January 20th, 2009, makes her sacrifice no less remarkable. Before such heroes, not just the journalists of the Novaya Gazeta, but journalists throughout the world who face such danger. Journalists like Olga Marshanova, who was kidnapped in Almaty, Kazakhstan in 2007 and is presumed dead after she refused to quit writing about the dangerous conditions of minors in this country and other controversial topics. Before such heroes, I feel so humble.
Around the world, 888 journalists like Anna and Anastasia and Olga have been killed between 1992 and 2011. In fact, the Committee to Protect Journalists, which maintains these records, doesn't even count those like Olga, whose bodies have never been found, but whose lives have surely been taken. So before these journalists, these martyrs, I bow in reverence, and I ask myself if I have that kind of courage to face such danger and not shrink from the field of battle. What is the value of truth to you and to me? What would we sacrifice for truth? Anna and other such journalists are my heroes. This is Ken Harvey. God bless and good day.